You are safe here. You have nowhere else to go, nothing else to hold. As you listen, allow your body to rest more deeply. Your breathing can slow gently without effort. Tonight, you are invited into a time before time, not a place of noise or urgency, but a soft beginning. Here is a quiet paradox to carry lightly. Before anything existed, everything already rested within it. You do not need to understand this. You only need to drift alongside it. Imagine an ancient darkness, calm and unafraid, not empty, not full, simply waiting. There are no stars yet, no sky to separate above from below. There is only a vast, slow presence, a gentle mingling of waters, endless and unhurried. These waters are not cold. They are not dangerous. They are patient. They hold the memory of all forms that will one day appear. Mountains, rivers, voices, names. But for now, they remain unshaped. A cradle without edges. As you breathe in, imagine this softness entering you. As you breathe out, imagine sinking into it. The ancient Sumerians spoke of this beginning in whispers. Stories passed gently, like lamps in the dark. They imagined creation not as a sudden event, but as a slow remembering. Two great currents rest within the waters, one calm and deep, one wide and flowing. Not enemies, not rivals, simply different rhythms sharing the same space. From their mingling comes warmth. From warmth comes awareness. Awareness stirs quietly, like a thought forming just before sleep. You may feel this stirring too, a soft alertness that does not wake you. The ancient world begins like this, without urgency, without force. No commands are spoken. No loud declarations are made. Instead, order begins as balance, as harmony slowly finding its shape. If your mind wanders, that is perfect. Wandering is how these stories were meant to be heard. You don't need to remember names. You don't need to follow events. Let the story move past you, like water moving around a stone. In this beginning, the waters carry potential. A quiet promise, not yet fulfilled. The Sumerians believed that even the gods emerged gently, like breath forming in the chest. First came presence, then awareness, then meaning. Nothing is rushed, nothing is missing. As you settle deeper, feel the steadiness of your body, the ground supporting you without question. This, too, is part of the ancient design. Rest was always intended. The primordial waters do not fear the dark. They know the dark is where beginnings hide. If thoughts arise, let them float. If images blur, let them soften. Creation, in this telling, is not loud. It is gentle and inevitable. A slow unfolding, like dawn before sunrise. A knowing without words. The ancients listened to the night. They listened to silence. They listened inward. That is why these stories feel calm. They were shaped by people who watched the stars quietly. People who understood that rest and creation are linked. That nothing new emerges from strain. As you listen now, you are part of that lineage. A listener at the edge of sleep, Your breathing deepens again, naturally. Your shoulders soften. Your jaw releases. The waters of the beginning still exist. They are within you now. Every calm breath returns you closer to them. Every exhale smooths the surface. Soon other forms will rise. Names will be given. Patterns will appear. But not yet. Not tonight. For now, rest in the formless. Rest in the quiet before structure. You are held. You are unhurried. You are exactly where you need to be. Let the ancient silence remain with you. Let it carry you gently forward, before the stars, before the world, before wakefulness returns. You may drift now. There is nothing left to do. The first stirring within the waters. The quiet remains unbroken. The darkness stays gentle. As you listen, allow your breath to move even slower, in and out, without effort. In the beginning waters, something subtle begins to shift. Not movement, not sound. A feeling. It is awareness without thought. Presence without form. You don't need to picture it clearly. Soft impressions are enough. The ancient Sumerians imagined this moment carefully. They believed creation started as recognition. The waters became aware of themselves, and that awareness was calm. No fear arose. No urgency followed. From this awareness, gentle distinctions formed. Not divisions, but differences. A deep stillness below. A lighter flow above, like breath resting in the lungs before it ever becomes a voice. As you listen, you may notice your own awareness drifting. That is welcome here. This story does not ask for focus. It invites softness. Within the waters, early presences begin to take shape. Not bodies, not faces, just qualities. Calm, motion, depth, expansion. These qualities do not clash. They coexist naturally. Creation is not a struggle yet. It is a conversation without words. If thoughts pull you away, that is fine. You can return any time or not at all. The ancient storytellers spoke these myths at night, when lamps were low, when voices were quiet. They knew that half-heard stories sink deeper, just like this one. As awareness deepens in the waters, a rhythm begins. Not time as we know it, but a gentle pulse. Rest, then presence, then rest again. Your breathing may match this rhythm now. Slow, steady, unforced. From rhythm comes order. Order without rules. The Sumerians did not imagine chaos as violent. They imagined it as unfinished. Chaos was simply potential waiting patiently. This is important, but you don't need to remember it. Your body already understands. Think of sleep itself, how it arrives when allowed, not commanded. So it was with the first forms. They emerged because the space was ready. The waters held them gently. Nothing pushed them forward. As these presences became clearer, they did not speak. They listened. Listening shaped them. Listening gave them direction. You are listening now, and you are being shaped by rest. The ancient world grows quietly, without witnesses, without expectation. No sky yet arches overhead. No ground supports weight. only layers of calm existence, one within another. If you feel heavy, let that heaviness remain. It means you are sinking into safety. If you feel light, let that be too. There is no wrong way to drift. Within the waters, awareness deepens further. With awareness comes intention, not desire, not ambition, just leaning toward form. The Sumerians believed this leaning was gentle curiosity, the universe wondering about itself. This curiosity did not rush. It observed. It waited. As you listen, your mind may loosen its grip. Thoughts may stretch and fade. That is how this story works. It does not follow you. It passes through. The waters begin to hold memory. Memory of calm. Memory of balance. These memories will shape everything that follows. But tonight, they remain soft. Creation has not begun yet. It is still deciding how to rest. Your body knows this stage well. The moment just before sleep deepens. Muscles soften. Awareness dims without disappearing. You don't need to stay awake for what comes next. The story will continue whether you listen or not. That is part of its kindness. The first stirrings do not demand attention. They simply exist. And so do you, held in the same quiet logic. As the waters continue their gentle rhythm, we will soon notice new presences forming. But for now, remain here, in the awareness before form. Let your breathing slow one more time. Let the story carry itself. You are safe. You are resting. You are drifting closer to sleep. Before anything rises, before anything is named. Rest here just a little longer. The waters continue to rest. But now, something within them begins to gently distinguish itself. Not a split, not a break, just a soft recognition of difference. One layer feels heavier, slower, deeper. Another feels lighter, more fluid, more open. This is not conflict. It is definition forming without resistance. The ancient Sumerians believed this moment mattered deeply, because meaning begins with contrast. Stillness knows itself only when movement appears. Depth understands itself only beside flow. As you listen, allow this idea to drift through you. You do not need to hold it. Your breathing remains slow. Your body continues to settle. From these gentle distinctions, presences begin to clarify. Not yet as figures, not yet as stories. They are forces before names, essences before identity. The deep waters carry steadiness. They feel ancient, enduring, calm. The flowing waters carry motion. They feel curious, expansive, quietly awake. Neither is stronger. Neither is weaker. They belong together. The Sumerians understood balance as cooperation, not dominance. Creation, in their telling, does not begin with victory. It begins with agreement. As awareness grows clearer, these presences begin to interact, not by collision, but by rhythm, like tides responding to the moon long before it exists, like breath responding to rest. If your thoughts begin to blur, let them. This story does not sharpen the mind, it softens it. Within the waters, early divine awareness stirs. Not ambition, not desire, just knowing. Knowing that something can exist. Knowing that shape is possible. This knowing feels like a quiet hum, barely perceptible, but steady. You may notice a similar hum in yourself, the gentle signal that sleep is deepening. The ancients believed the universe learned by listening, before it ever spoke. Listening shaped intention. Intention shaped form. Nothing is rushed here. Nothing is forced. The waters remain patient teachers. They allow awareness to grow naturally. From interaction comes pattern. From pattern comes expectation. Not expectation of outcome, but expectation of continuity. The universe begins to trust itself. This trust is subtle, but it is essential. As you lie listening, your body mirrors this trust. The trust that it knows how to rest. Muscles loosen without instruction. Breath slows without command. Within the myth, distinctions continue to clarify. Above and below become ideas, not places yet. Near and far begin as sensations, not distances. This is how structure forms in the Sumerian mind, as feeling before geometry. The early presences do not argue, they respond, they adapt, they learn. Creation is portrayed as intelligent calm, not chaos corrected, but chaos refined. If your awareness drifts in and out, that is part of the design. These stories were never meant to be followed precisely. They were meant to accompany sleep. Within the waters, awareness now recognizes continuity, a sense that something will follow something else. This is the earliest shape of time, not measured, just sensed. Your body senses time the same way right now. Through rhythm, not clocks, the waters hold this new awareness gently. They do not test it. They allow it to deepen. Soon, names will emerge. Soon, identities will form. But tonight, we remain before that threshold. In this stage, nothing needs definition. Nothing needs resolution. Only quiet becoming. Only slow alignment. As this part of the story settles, let your breathing settle with it. You do not need to stay awake for what comes next. The myth will continue without effort. Awareness separates. Balance remains. Rest deepens. And you may drift as the ancient waters continue their calm, unbroken rhythm. Before names, before forms, before wakefulness returns, the waters continue to rest. But now, something within them begins to gently distinguish itself. Not a split, not a break, just a soft recognition of difference. One layer feels heavier, slower, deeper. Another feels lighter, more fluid, more open. This is not conflict. It is definition forming without resistance. The ancient Sumerians believed this moment mattered deeply, because meaning begins with contrast. Stillness knows itself only when movement appears. Depth understands itself only beside flow. As you listen, allow this idea to drift through you. You do not need to hold it. Your breathing remains slow. Your body continues to settle. From these gentle distinctions, presences begin to clarify. not yet as figures, not yet as stories. They are forces before names, essences before identity. The deep waters carry steadiness. They feel ancient, enduring, calm. The flowing waters carry motion. They feel curious, expansive, quietly awake. Neither is stronger, neither is weaker. They belong together. The Sumerians understood balance as cooperation, not dominance. Creation, in their telling, does not begin with victory. It begins with agreement. As awareness grows clearer, these presences begin to interact, not by collision, but by rhythm, like tides responding to the moon long before it exists, like breath responding to rest. If your thoughts begin to blur, let them. This story does not sharpen the mind, it softens it. Within the waters, early divine awareness stirs, not ambition, not desire, just knowing, knowing that something can exist, knowing that shape is possible. This knowing feels like a quiet hum, barely perceptible, but steady. You may notice a similar hum in yourself, the gentle signal that sleep is deepening. The ancients believed the universe learned by listening, before it ever spoke. Listening shaped intention. Intention shaped form. Nothing is rushed here. Nothing is forced. The waters remain patient teachers. They allow awareness to grow naturally. From interaction comes pattern. From pattern comes expectation. Not expectation of outcome, but expectation of continuity. The universe begins to trust itself. This trust is subtle, but it is essential. As you lie listening, your body mirrors this trust, the trust that it knows how to rest. Muscles loosen without instruction. Breath slows without command. Within the myth, distinctions continue to clarify. Above and below become ideas, not places yet. Near and far begin as sensations, not distances. This is how structure forms in the Sumerian mind, as feeling before geometry. The early presences do not argue, they respond, they adapt, they learn. Creation is portrayed as intelligent calm, not chaos corrected, but chaos refined. If your awareness drifts in and out, that is part of the design. These stories were never meant to be followed precisely. They were meant to accompany sleep. Within the waters, awareness now recognizes continuity, a sense that something will follow something else. This is the earliest shape of time, not measured, just sensed. Your body senses time the same way right now. Through rhythm, not clocks, the waters hold this new awareness gently. They do not test it. They allow it to deepen. Soon, names will emerge. Soon, identities will form. But tonight, we remain before that threshold. In this stage, nothing needs definition. Nothing needs resolution. Only quiet becoming. Only slow alignment. As this part of the story settles, let your breathing settle with it. You do not need to stay awake for what comes next. The myth will continue without effort. Awareness separates. Balance remains. Rest deepens. And you may drift as the ancient waters continue their calm, unbroken rhythm. before names, before forms, before wakefulness returns. The waters now remember their own rhythm, not as motion, but as consistency. From this consistency, something new becomes possible. Not creation yet, preparation. Patterns begin to repeat themselves, softly, reliably. Repetition brings comfort. Comfort brings stability. The ancient Sumerians believed order was not imposed, it was discovered. Within the mingling depths, awareness begins to notice balance. Not balance as control, but balance as harmony. The deeper waters hold firmness. The flowing waters hold adaptability. Together, they form a steady exchange, giving without loss, receiving without need. As you listen, your body recognizes this exchange. Each breath giving, each breath receiving. Nothing extra is required. Nothing is missing. Within this steady rhythm, early forms of direction appear, not commands, inclinations, a leaning toward structure, a leaning toward continuity. The universe does not decide what it will be. It allows itself to become. This becoming is slow, almost imperceptible, like sleep deepening between one breath and the next. In the Sumerian imagination, the first divine awareness does not speak. It listens inwardly. It senses the steadiness of the waters, the reliability of rhythm. From sensing comes trust. From trust comes patience. Order forms not as walls or lines, but as understanding. Understanding that some things endure. Understanding that some things move. Neither threatens the other. They define one another gently. As you continue to rest, notice how your body does the same. Some parts heavy, some parts light, all parts supported. Within the myth, the waters now hold expectation. Not expectation of outcome, but expectation of continuation. This is the first quiet promise that what exists will persist. Persistence gives rise to stability. Stability allows form to approach. The ancient storytellers described this phase carefully. They spoke of it slowly, in lowered voices. They understood that order emerges best in calm. Nothing is built here. Nothing is broken. The universe simply becomes more certain of itself. Certainty does not mean rigidity. It means confidence. A confidence that allows space. A confidence that allows rest. As awareness settles into this certainty, the waters feel less undefined, not because boundaries appear, but because relationships become clearer. Above responds to below. Below supports above. These are ideas, not locations. Feelings, not places. Your mind does not need to map them. Your body understands them intuitively. This stage of creation feels familiar. It resembles the moment when the mind releases control. Thoughts slow. Images soften. Attention loosens. Order in the Sumerian sense does not awaken the world. It allows the world to rest into itself. From this rest, potential gathers. Quietly, patiently. The waters now carry memory of balance, memory of rhythm, memory of calm exchange. These memories will later shape everything that follows: sky, earth, life. But for now, they remain unexpressed, held gently. If you notice yourself drifting further, let that drifting continue. This story does not require attention to proceed. It unfolds regardless. Within the myth, awareness begins to recognize sequence, not time measured, but time felt, a sense that one state follows another, naturally, reliably. This is the earliest sense of order, before laws, before rules. Sequence allows anticipation. Anticipation allows calm. The universe begins to rest more deeply in itself, and as it rests, the possibility of form draws nearer. You may feel your own body entering a deeper layer of rest now, muscles heavier, breath slower, thoughts quieter. This is not absence, it is presence without effort. The ancient Sumerians believed creation respected rest, that nothing meaningful emerges from strain. So the myth pauses here, not stopping, pausing, allowing order to settle fully, allowing rhythm to stabilize. In the waters, balance holds steady. Awareness remains gentle. Potential waits without impatience. And you, listening, are aligned with this moment. There is nothing to anticipate, nothing to prepare for. Soon, names will appear. Soon, stories will become clearer. But not yet, not in this quiet stage. For now, rest within order that has no edges, structure that does not constrain. Let your breathing find its own pace again. Let the story carry its own weight. As this part settles, you may drift further away from wakefulness. The waters remain calm. Order remains gentle, and becoming continues. Slowly, patiently, without demand, before form, before conflict, before sound. Rest here, as the ancient beginning holds itself steady within the settled order of the waters. Something new becomes quietly noticeable. It is not movement. It is not sound. It is intention. Not intention as desire, but intention as direction. A gentle leaning toward form, a subtle sense that becoming is possible. The ancient Sumerians imagined this moment with great care. They believed intention arose only after balance felt secure. Nothing begins while instability remains. Nothing forms while rhythm is uncertain. Now the rhythm is steady. Order has rested into place. So intention appears naturally, without urgency, without force. As you listen, your own body mirrors this process. Rest comes first, then depth, then clarity. Intention does not wake you. It settles you further. Within the waters, awareness now holds curiosity. Not sharp curiosity, soft curiosity. A wondering about shape, a wondering about distinction. This wondering does not rush toward answers. It lingers comfortably in questions. The Sumerians believed the universe learned gently, through observation, through patience. Nothing is demanded of the waters. They offer possibility on their own time. Intention begins as alignment, a feeling that some forms belong together. Depth pairs with steadiness. Flow pairs with motion. These pairings do not separate the waters, they give them character. Character allows meaning to grow. Meaning allows identity to approach. Still, nothing is named yet. Naming comes later. For now, there is recognition without labels, knowing without language. If your thoughts become distant, let them go. This story does not require mental effort. Intention in this myth feels like a gentle current, barely noticeable unless you are resting deeply, like the moment when sleep decides to stay, when resistance dissolves. The waters now feel slightly more awake, but not alert, aware without tension. From this awareness, early organizing principles form, not rules, preferences. Some rhythms repeat more often. Some patterns feel more stable. The universe notices what feels right and continues in that direction. As you lie listening, your body does the same, finding positions that feel supportive, releasing what does not. This alignment is ancient, older than thought, older than language. The Sumerians believed intention was sacred because it arose from harmony, not conflict. Creation does not begin as struggle. It begins as agreement. Agreement between stillness and motion. Agreement between depth and flow. Within this agreement, identity begins to hover at the edges of awareness. Not formed, not visible, but sensed, like a name remembered before it is spoken. The waters carry this sense carefully. They do not rush to define it. Definition would be premature. Rest must remain intact. As intention stabilizes, continuity deepens, the sense that what exists will remain. This continuity allows trust. Trust allows exploration. Exploration does not disturb the calm. It moves within it. The ancient storytellers described this phase slowly, often repeating ideas, but never rushing them. They knew repetition soothes the listener, just as rhythm soothes the body. Intention now feels like quiet readiness, not readiness to act, readiness to allow, allowing shape to approach, allowing distinction to clarify. This allowance is patient. It does not measure time. Time, as we know it, has not arrived yet. Only sequence exists. One state gently following another. As awareness grows comfortable with sequence, it begins to sense relation. Relation between states. Relation between rhythms. Relation is the seed of structure. Structure, in the Sumerian view, is not imposed. It emerges from relationship. This understanding feels deeply calming. Nothing must be forced into place. Everything finds its position naturally. As you listen, your breathing continues its slow pattern. In, out. The story does not demand attention. It continues regardless. Within the waters, intention begins to hold steadiness. It no longer flickers. It rests. Resting intention is powerful because it does not waver. This steadiness prepares the way for form, but form has not arrived yet. The myth remains gentle, protective of calm. The Sumerians believed the universe respected readiness. Nothing appeared before its time. So intention waits, comfortably, confidently. If you feel yourself drifting closer to sleep, let that happen. The story will not disappear. It will continue softly, whether you hear it or not. Intention now rests fully within the waters, aligned, balanced, patient. This resting intention creates space, and in space, possibility expands. Soon, presences will take clearer form. Soon, names will surface, but not yet, not in this moment of preparation. For now, remain within this quiet readiness, this gentle leaning toward becoming. Let your body sink further into support. Let your breathing slow again. Nothing is required of you. Nothing is expected. The waters hold intention without tension. And you, listening, are carried by the same calm logic. As this part settles, the story prepares to move forward. Slowly, softly, without disturbance, and you may drift as intention rests, as form waits patiently, as sleep deepens naturally. Before names, before action, before sound, rest here, where becoming is allowed to wait. Intention now rests quietly within the waters. It does not move. It does not ask. It simply remains. And in remaining, it begins to gather depth. Depth changes the quality of awareness, not by adding effort, but by softening edges. The ancient Sumerians imagined this phase as remembering, the universe slowly recognizing what it already contains. Nothing new is introduced. Nothing is removed. Instead, awareness turns inward, listening more closely to itself. As you listen now, your own awareness may do the same, turning inward without strain. Within the waters, memory begins to form. Not memory of events, but memory of states. The calm of balance, the steadiness of rhythm, the comfort of continuity. These memories do not belong to any one presence. They belong to the whole. The waters remember how to be still. They remember how to flow. This remembering strengthens harmony. Harmony deepens trust. Trust allows awareness to rest more fully. Resting awareness does not fade. It clarifies. The Sumerians believed the gods emerged from memory, from the universe recalling its own patterns. Before names, there were tendencies. Before figures, there were roles. These roles are not assigned. They are recognized. Some presences carry steadiness naturally. Others carry motion without effort. Neither competes. Each fulfills a quiet function. As these functions become clearer, awareness begins to feel layered, not divided, layered, like gentle depths beneath a calm surface. Your breathing may feel layered now too. Surface breath slow, deeper breath slower still. Within the myth, the waters now hold quiet confidence. Confidence that order will endure. This confidence is not loud. It does not announce itself. It simply settles in, like night settling across land. From confidence comes stability. From stability comes readiness. Readiness does not mean action. It means openness. The universe becomes open to expression, without urgency, without demand. As awareness continues to remember itself, it begins to sense differentiation more clearly. Above and below feel distinct. Near and far feel implied. These are still feelings, not places. Impressions, not structures. The Sumerians described this stage with great restraint. They avoided detail. They favored suggestion, because suggestion leaves space for rest. Within the waters, early presences now feel familiar to one another. They recognize shared rhythm, shared memory. This familiarity creates cohesion. Cohesion strengthens identity. Identity here is not individual, it is collective. The universe knows itself as a whole before it knows its parts. This knowing is deeply calming. There is no separation yet, no isolation. Everything belongs. Everything participates. As you lie listening, your body belongs too, supported, contained, at ease. The waters continue their gentle remembering. Patterns repeat softly. Rhythms remain steady. Nothing interrupts this flow. Nothing challenges it. The myth remains protective of calm, protective of sleep. In this remembering, awareness becomes more assured, less tentative, more settled. Assurance allows clarity. Clarity allows potential to organize. The ancient Sumerians believed creation required certainty. Not certainty of outcome, but certainty of balance. Now, that balance is unquestioned. The waters feel complete, even before anything is formed. This completeness is important because what comes next does not fix a lack. It expresses abundance. As awareness rests in completeness, the idea of expression gently approaches. Not expression as sound, expression as presence. Something wishes to be known, not because it is hidden, but because it is ready. This readiness remains quiet. It does not disturb the waters. If your thoughts fade in and out, let them. This story does not need continuity. The waters now carry memory, confidence, and readiness. These qualities settle together. They prepare the ground for distinction, for identity, for name. But that threshold has not been crossed yet. For now, the myth lingers in this calm remembering, holding space, holding patience. As this part draws to a close, notice your breathing again. Slow, unforced. Your body mirrors the ancient waters, remembering how to rest, remembering how to let go. Nothing presses forward, nothing pulls back. Awareness remains suspended in quiet confidence. Soon, presences will step forward more clearly. Soon, stories will gain shape. But in this moment, the universe is content to remember itself, and you may drift further into sleep, carried by the same gentle certainty. Before identity, before sound, before distinction becomes name. Rest here, as memory deepens, as calm holds steady, as the ancient waters remain unbroken. Within the remembered calm of the waters, something begins to gather gently, not from outside, from within. Awareness, memory, and intention rest together now. Their closeness creates warmth. This warmth is subtle, barely noticeable, but steady. The ancient Sumerians believed warmth signaled readiness, not urgency. Readiness. Warmth allows presence to thicken, to feel more concentrated. The waters do not change their rhythm. They simply hold this gathering carefully. As you listen, your own awareness may feel slightly closer, not sharper, closer. Presence does not demand attention. It invites nearness. Within the myth, this gathering feels like quiet density, a sense that something is becoming more itself, still without form, still without name, but more distinct. The Sumerians imagined this as presence learning to stay, not drifting, not dissolving. Staying does not require effort. It requires comfort. Comfort has already been established. Balance remains intact. So presence lingers naturally. As presence lingers, awareness becomes more focused without narrowing. Focus here is not tension. It is coherence, like light gathering softly at dawn before the sun appears. This coherence allows recognition. Recognition allows relationship. Early presences begin to sense one another more clearly, not as separate beings, but as distinct qualities. Steadiness recognizes motion. Motion recognizes steadiness. Neither dominates, neither withdraws. They acknowledge one another. Acknowledgement deepens presence. Presence stabilizes awareness. The universe feels quietly attentive to itself, without strain, without anticipation. As you lie listening, notice how your body remains supported, how nothing needs adjustment. This story moves the same way. It does not shift suddenly. It settles. Within the waters, coherence strengthens. Patterns align more smoothly. Memory reinforces rhythm. Rhythm reinforces continuity. Continuity allows presence to feel enduring. Endurance does not imply permanence yet. It implies reliability. The Sumerians valued reliability deeply. They saw it as sacred. What can be relied upon can be built upon. For now, presence is simply being relied upon, trusted to remain. As trust deepens, presence becomes less diffuse, more centered. This centering does not compress the waters. It clarifies them, like a thought settling into a feeling without becoming words. If your thoughts blur here, that is expected. Presence does not require clarity to be felt. Within the myth, the waters feel gently attentive. They cradle this gathering without interference. No pressure is applied, no direction imposed. Presence organizes itself by comfort, by ease, by resonance. Resonance is the key. What belongs together stays together. The universe listens for what resonates and allows it to remain. As presence stabilizes, the sense of relation deepens further. Relation between depths, relation between currents, relation between stillness and motion. These relations do not form structures yet. They form familiarity. Familiarity breeds calm. Calm breeds patience. The ancient Sumerians believed patience was creative, that waiting was an active state. This myth honors waiting, honors staying with what is forming. Presence now feels quietly established, no longer fleeting, no longer uncertain. The waters respond by holding even more gently, as if aware of their responsibility. You may feel a similar holding in your own body, the way the surface beneath you supports without effort. Presence does not yet act. It does not express. It simply exists fully. This fullness is important because expression will come from fullness, not from lack. The myth remains calm here, protective of this stage. Nothing dramatic occurs. Nothing needs to. As presence gathers, it becomes ready to be known, not named, known. Knowing precedes naming. Feeling precedes language. This knowing is quiet certainty, a sense of identity approaching gently. Identity here is not individual. It is role-like, function-like. Some presences feel like support. Others feel like movement. Others feel like containment. These feelings coexist without hierarchy. All are necessary. As this part of the story settles, presence rests fully gathered, centered, stable, at ease. Nothing presses it forward. Nothing holds it back. It simply remains ready. Soon, recognition will deepen. Soon, names will begin to hover. But for now, the myth lingers in this gathered presence, allowing it to feel complete. Notice your breathing once more, slow, even, unforced. You do not need to follow what comes next. The story will carry itself. Presence remains. Waters remain calm. Balance holds, and you may drift further into sleep as the ancient beginning continues. Quietly, patiently, without disturbance, before names, before action, before sound takes shape. Rest here, where presence has gathered, and nothing yet asks to move. Presence now rests steadily within the waters. It does not scatter. It does not fade. With this steadiness, something delicate approaches. Not speech, not sound, recognition. The ancient Sumerians believed names did not appear suddenly. They hovered first, hovering without being spoken, felt before being heard. Within the gathered presence, certain qualities begin to stand out, not sharply, gently. Depth feels like depth. Flow feels like flow. These qualities have always existed, but now they feel distinct enough to be noticed. As you listen, you may feel your own awareness noticing without effort. Recognition does not wake you. It settles alongside rest. Within the myth, recognition feels like familiarity becoming clearer, like recognizing a voice you have known for a long time. The waters do not label these qualities yet. They allow them to linger. Lingering allows meaning to mature. Meaning ripens slowly. The Sumerians respected this stage deeply. They believed premature naming disrupted balance. So the myth moves carefully here. Quietly, qualities begin to gather around emerging roles. Support, movement, containment. These roles are not assigned. They are sensed. Sensing creates agreement. Agreement creates clarity. Clarity does not demand words. It rests comfortably without them. As clarity grows, names begin to feel possible, not necessary, possible. This possibility is gentle. It does not insist. The waters respond by remaining still, providing space for recognition to deepen. If your thoughts drift away completely, that is welcomed here. This story does not need your attention to unfold. Within the gathered presence, early divine identities begin to feel implied, not spoken, not formed, implied like outlines in mist. The Sumerians understood implication as sacred because it allowed imagination to rest. When nothing is fixed, everything remains calm. Recognition now moves from general to specific. Some qualities feel foundational. Others feel expressive. Some feel like origins. Others feel like responses. These distinctions do not separate the waters. They enrich them. Enrichment does not disturb balance. It deepens it. As recognition stabilizes, the first sense of hierarchy gently approaches. Not dominance, order. Order here means sequence, not power. The Sumerians imagined this order as natural arrangement. What supports rests beneath. What moves flows above. These are sensations, not structures. Feelings, not places. Your body understands this language well. Support beneath, ease above. Within the myth, recognition continues to hover without becoming speech. Hovering allows rest to remain intact. Speech would sharpen awareness too much, so the universe waits, patient, assured. As names hover, identity becomes more confident, less tentative. Confidence does not rush expression. It waits for readiness. The waters feel receptive. They cradle these emerging identities carefully. Nothing is pressed forward. Nothing is withheld. Recognition now feels complete enough to hold form. But form is not yet invited. This pause is intentional. It protects calm. The Sumerians believed pauses were creative spaces, places where balance could settle fully. As this part of the story rests, notice how your breathing remains steady. In, out. The hovering names do not disturb you. They pass gently above awareness. You do not need to remember them. They are not meant to be retained. They exist only to prepare what follows. Soon, names will be spoken. Soon, roles will solidify. But not yet. Not in this quiet hovering. For now, remain with recognition without language, meaning without sound. Let your mind rest in this openness. Let your body sink deeper into support. The waters remain calm. Presence remains gathered. Recognition remains gentle, and you may drift further into sleep as the first names hover quietly, waiting for the right moment to be known. Before speech, before identity becomes voice, before form answers recognition. Rest here where meaning floats softly and nothing yet needs to be said. The hovering recognition has settled long enough now to feel ready, not ready for sound, not ready for action, ready for form. Form does not arrive suddenly. It approaches slowly, like a shoreline appearing through mist. Within the calm waters, the first great stories begin to take shape. Not told, not spoken. felt. The ancient Sumerians believed stories existed before words were ever used. Stories were patterns of meaning, meaning moving gently through awareness. As recognition deepens, these patterns begin to connect. Depth links to support, flow links to motion. Support and motion do not compete. They rely on one another. Reliance creates structure. Structure creates continuity. The universe now senses itself as something that can hold stories. Stories do not require conflict. They require sequence, one thing following another. This following is calm, predictable, soothing. As you listen, your breathing continues to follow its own gentle sequence. In, out, within the waters, the first great presences now feel close to being known. Not named yet, but almost. They carry distinct qualities. One feels vast and encompassing. Another feels decisive and focused. These qualities are not opposing forces. They are complementary roles. The Sumerians imagined this state as the universe rehearsing its own story. Quietly, patiently, nothing is announced. Nothing is declared. Instead, meaning settles into position. Like stones finding stability in a riverbed, the waters remain calm throughout this process. They do not resist change. They absorb it. Absorption keeps balance intact. Balance keeps rest undisturbed. As patterns connect more fully, the idea of origin becomes clearer. Not origin as beginning, but origin as source. Some presences feel like sources, others feel like expressions. Source does not dominate expression. Expression honors source. This relationship forms the heart of the great Sumerian creation stories. Creation is not conquest. It is relationship made visible. As these relationships settle, identity begins to feel stable enough to hold narrative. Narrative here does not mean drama. It means coherence. Coherence allows memory. Memory allows continuity across states. The universe now remembers itself, not only as balance, but as unfolding meaning. This unfolding remains slow, protective of calm. The Sumerians placed great importance on this slowness. They believed haste broke harmony, so the myth continues carefully, almost reverently. Within the forming stories, one presence begins to feel expansive and ancient, wide, containing. Another presence feels more focused, gathered, purposeful. These presences are not yet in motion. They are roles waiting to be embodied. As you lie listening, your awareness may drift in and out. This is expected. Stories at this stage are meant to be felt more than followed. The waters continue to hold everything evenly. They do not favor one role over another. Even as distinction grows, unity remains. This unity prevents tension, prevents urgency. As the great stories begin to take shape, the idea of order deepens further. Not order imposed, order expressed. Expression here is gentle alignment, each role finding where it belongs. Belonging creates peace. Peace allows continuation. The universe now feels capable of sustaining story without disruption. This capability is quiet confidence, not power, not force. The Sumerians believed true power never disturbed calm. Within the myths, this stage marks a turning point, not a dramatic one, a subtle one. From this point onward, stories can be told, even if no one is listening. Meaning can flow from one presence to another. As this flow becomes smoother, identity becomes more defined, still without names, still without sound, but unmistakable in feeling. If your thoughts dissolve completely here, that is ideal. This is where the story merges with sleep. The waters now feel supportive of emergence, not pushing, allowing. Allowance creates space. Space allows form to approach gently. The great stories hover closer now, ready to cross into expression. But expression will wait. Calm remains protected. The Sumerians understood that what emerges from calm returns to calm. Nothing breaks the waters. Nothing escapes them. As this part of the story deepens, notice how your body feels heavier, more settled. This heaviness is not fatigue. It is grounding. The forming stories do not pull you forward. They hold you where you are. Within the myth, the roles that will later become gods are now fully recognizable in feeling. They are ready to be known, but not yet spoken. Speech will come later, after form, after relation becomes interaction. For now, the great stories remain internal, contained within the waters. As this part draws toward rest, the universe pauses again, not stopping, pausing, allowing meaning to settle completely, allowing roles to rest in their places. You do not need to stay awake to hear what comes next. The story will continue on its own. The waters remain calm. The stories remain gentle. The night remains quiet, and you may drift deeper into sleep as the first great stories take shape without sound, without urgency, without disturbance, before conflict, before motion, before voices rise. Rest here, where meaning has form, but still chooses silence. The ancient beginning continues, softly, patiently, holding you as gently as it holds itself. Now rest within the waters, fully shaped in feeling, still untouched by sound. Meaning has found its place. Roles have settled. Nothing presses forward. In this quiet fullness, order begins to lean toward expression, not speech yet, preparation. The ancient Sumerians believed expression followed confidence. Only what felt complete could be shared. Completion here does not mean final. It means steady. As steadiness deepens, the universe senses that silence can hold more. Silence becomes spacious. Spaciousness invites articulation. Articulation does not arrive as noise. It arrives as alignment. Within the waters, the great presences feel ready to relate more clearly, not to challenge, to respond. Response requires awareness of sequence. One presence followed by another. Sequence here is calm, predictable, reassuring. As you listen, your breathing continues its own gentle sequence. In, out. The myth mirrors your body. Nothing abrupt, nothing forced. Within the forming order, The sense of direction becomes clearer, not direction as movement, direction as relationship. Who supports, who expresses, who contains. These roles now feel stable enough to interact without disruption. Interaction does not disturb the waters. It deepens their calm. The Sumerians imagined this day as order learning how to speak without sound, through arrangement, through presence. Arrangement allows meaning to be shared without words. Shared meaning creates harmony. Harmony allows continuity. As harmony settles, the universe becomes confident in its structure. Structure here is gentle, flexible, supportive. Nothing rigid forms. Nothing closes off. This gentleness is essential because what comes next will require stability without hardness. Within the waters, the great presences now feel ready to acknowledge one another openly. Acknowledgement is subtle, a sense of recognition flowing back and forth. Recognition does not create hierarchy. It creates clarity. Clarity removes uncertainty. Uncertainty is no longer needed. As uncertainty fades, order becomes confident enough to hold narrative. Narrative here is not conflict. It is cooperation over time. The universe senses that things can happen without breaking calm. This understanding is profound. It changes everything quietly. From this point on, movement will not threaten balance. Expression will not shatter rest. The Sumerians placed this realization at the heart of creation, because without it, nothing could endure. Within the myths, the waters remain unchanged in appearance, but their function deepens. They now serve as witness, as support, as continuity. Witnessing allows expression to occur safely. As expression approaches, identity becomes clearer still. Not individual identity, relational identity. Who responds to whom? Who supports which movement? Who contains which expansion? These relationships feel natural, unforced, comfortable. As you rest, your body understands this language. Support beneath, ease around, space above. The myth and your body remain aligned, both resting within gentle order. Within the forming narrative, the great presences now feel ready to move beyond implication, not yet into action, into acknowledgement. Acknowledgement does not need sound. It needs presence. Presence is already established. So acknowledgement occurs quietly. The universe recognizes itself as coherent. This recognition brings calm assurance. Assurance allows the idea of responsibility to appear, not burden, responsibility as care. Care ensures balance will be maintained as expression unfolds. The Sumerians believed the gods were caretakers first, creators second. This myth reflects that belief. Nothing is created without care. As care settles into the forming order, the waters feel even more supportive. They are ready to hold chain without resistance. Change here does not mean disruption. It means progression. Progression occurs gently, one state becoming another, without losing itself. As you listen, your awareness may drift further from words. This is intended. This part of the story is meant to be felt more than understood. Within the myth, order now feels capable of expression, not compelled, capable. Capability is calm. It waits for the right moment. That moment is approaching, but not yet. Before expression begins, the universe pauses once more to ensure balance remains intact. Pauses are protective. They preserve rest. The Sumerians understood that what pauses can endure. So the story pauses here, holding order steady, allowing readiness to mature fully. As this part settles, notice how your breathing remains slow. Your body remains heavy. Your thoughts remain distant. You do not need to follow what comes next. The story will continue without effort. Order has learned how to speak softly. Expression is close. Calm remains unbroken, and you may drift deeper into sleep as the ancient beginning prepares to move gently forward, before voices, before motion, before the first clear acts. Rest here, where order is complete enough to express without harm, and silence still holds everything safely. The waters remain calm. Meaning remains steady. The night remains quiet, and becoming continues, softly, patiently, carrying you further. Order into now rests in quiet readiness. It has learned how to hold expression without breaking calm. From this readiness, the first movements begin, not as action, as adjustment. Movement here is subtle, barely perceptible, like a shift in breath during deep sleep. The ancient Sumerians described this day as the universe testing its balance. Gently, carefully, nothing rushes forward. Nothing pushes against what exists. Instead, relationships begin to respond. Support answers motion. Containment answers expansion. These responses are instinctive. They do not require thought. As you listen, your body performs similar adjustments. A shoulder releases. A breath deepens. These small movements do not wake you. They help you rest more fully. Within the myth, the first movements are expressions of trust. Trust that balance will remain. The waters remain calm witnesses. They absorb every shift without disturbance. Absorption allows continuity. Continuity protects harmony. As movements continue gently, the sense of sequence strengthens. One response follows another. This sequence remains predictable, reassuring, soothing. The universe learns that movement does not threaten rest. This learning is essential. Without it, nothing could progress. The Sumerians believed the gods moved only when harmony allowed it, never before. So movement remains respectful, measured, balanced. Within the forming order, roles now begin to express themselves slightly. Support becomes more supportive. Motion becomes more fluid. Expression does not exaggerate. It clarifies. Clarification strengthens identity. Identity strengthens relationship. As identity stabilizes, interaction becomes more comfortable. Comfort allows continuation. Continuation allows story. Story here is still quiet, almost internal. Nothing dramatic occurs. Nothing is resolved. The myth protects calm above all else. Within the waters, movement remains contained. No boundaries are crossed. No lines are drawn. Containment allows safety. Safety allows presence to remain open. As you rest, notice how your breathing flows without interruption. In, out, the story and your body continue in parallel, both moving gently within rest. Within the myth, the first movements begin to reveal tendencies. Some presences move more readily. Others remain steady. These tendencies are not judged. They are accepted. Acceptance reduces friction. Friction is unnecessary here. The universe becomes skilled at self-adjustment, small shifts maintaining balance. This skill is quiet wisdom, learned through patience. The Sumerians placed great importance on this phase. They believed the world survived because early movement was gentle. Had it been rushed, order would have fractured. So the myth emphasizes restraint, respect, listening. As movement continues calmly, expression becomes more confident, but still soft. Confidence does not mean force. It means ease. Ease allows longer sequences to form. Sequences allow continuity of meaning. The universe now experiences itself as capable of change without loss. This realization deepens calm rather than disturbing it. Within the waters, movement and stillness now coexist fully. Neither dominates, neither withdraws. This coexistence is the foundation for everything that follows. As the myth settles here, movement slows again, not stopping, slowing. Slowing allows assessment. Assessment allows balance to remain precise. Precision here is gentle, not exacting, responsive. The universe learns how to adjust continuously, without tension. As you listen, your own awareness may drift further away. This is expected. This part of the story is designed to merge with sleep. Within the myth, the first movements have proven safe. Balance remains intact. Harmony remains present. Because of this success, the possibility of clearer expression draws nearer. But again, the story pauses, protecting rest. Pauses allow integration. Integration allows endurance. The Sumerians believed endurance was the highest sign of creation. As this part concludes, movement rests again within stillness, not erased, integrated. Notice your breathing once more, slow, even comfortable. You do not need to remain awake to hear what follows. The story will continue on its own. The waters remain calm. Movement remains gentle. Balance remains secure. And you may drift deeper into sleep as the ancient beginning continues, without urgency, without strain, without disturbance, before decisive acts, before separation becomes visible, before the world takes clearer shape. Rest here, where movement has proven itself kind, and calm still holds everything together. Now rests comfortably within stillness. Nothing resists it. Nothing rushes it forward. From this comfort, change becomes possible. Not sudden, not dramatic. Change here is gradual adjustment, a gentle rearranging, within what already exists. The ancient Sumerians imagined this phase as balance proving itself reliable, able to hold chain without losing harmony. Within the waters, relationships adapt smoothly, support adjusts to motion, containment widens slightly. These changes feel natural, expected, safe. As you listen, your body mirrors this process. A deeper breath, a softer release. Nothing interrupts your rest. Each adjustment allows you to sink further. Within the myth, change does not announce itself. It arrives quietly, like night deepening without notice. Balance responds effortlessly. No correction is required. No force is applied. This effortless response builds confidence. Confidence that the system can endure. The universe now understands that change does not threaten order. It refines it. The Sumerians believed this understanding was essential for creation to continue. Without it, everything would freeze or fracture. So the myth lingers here, allowing change to be fully absorbed. Within the waters, identity becomes more secure. Roles remain clear even as they adapt. Support remains support. Motion remains motion. Containment remains containment. Adaptation does not blur identity. It strengthens it. As identity strengthens, relationships deepen further. Depth recognizes flow. Flow honors depth. This mutual recognition creates resilience. Resilience allows continuity across change. The universe now feels capable of sustaining long sequences of becoming. As you rest, this sense of continuity may feel comforting. There is no need to track time, no need to follow progression. Everything unfolds safely on its own. Within the myth, change continues gently. Small adjustments accumulating slowly. Nothing dramatic marks this stage. That is intentional. The Sumerians believed drama belonged later, after foundations were secure. Here, foundations are tested quietly, and they hold. Because they hold, confidence deepens further. Confidence brings calm assurance. Assurance allows greater openness. Openness allows expression to mature. The waters feel increasingly supportive. They accommodate change without resistance. This accommodation preserves rest. Preserving rest remains the highest priority. As you listen, your thoughts may feel distant. This distance is protective. It allows sleep to deepen. Within the forming universe, change now feels integrated. No longer something separate, just part of rhythm. Rhythm absorbs change naturally, like waves reshaping sand slowly. This reshaping does not disturb the shore. It refines it. The myth now carries a sense of durability, that what is forming can last. Durability does not mean rigidity. It means adaptability without loss. The Sumerians valued this balance deeply. They saw it reflected in rivers, in seasons, in night following day. As balance holds through change, the idea of structure approaches. Not yet visible, not yet defined. Structure here is potential alignment, a readiness for clearer separation. But separation has not occurred yet. Unity remains intact. The universe pauses again at this threshold, ensuring that balance is fully prepared. Pauses are not delays, they are confirmations. Confirmation allows confidence to settle completely. As this part of the story rests, notice how your breathing remains even, slow, unforced. Your body feels heavier, more supported, more still. The myth and your rest continue together, both moving gently through change without disturbance. Within the waters, balance now feels unquestioned, reliable, enduring. Because of this, the next phase can approach safely. Clearer distinction, clearer form, but that step will come slowly, carefully, with respect for calm. For now, change rests within balance. Balance holds everything together. You do not need to stay awake to hear what follows. The story carries itself. As this part draws to close, movement settles again into stillness. Integrated, complete, the waters remain calm. Balance remains steady. The night remains quiet, and you may drift deeper into sleep as the ancient beginning prepares for its next gentle transition, before separation, before clear form, before the world takes shape. Rest here, where balance has proven itself kind, and change no longer feels unfamiliar. Balance now feels certain, so certain that it can allow distinction. Distinction does not arrive as division. It arrives as clarity. The ancient Sumerians imagined this moment carefully. They did not see separation as loss. They saw it as definition. Definition allows things to be known without being broken apart. Within the waters, relationships begin to feel more clearly arranged, not forced, simply apparent. Above and below now feel distinct in sensation, not places, orientations. One feels expansive and light. Another feels grounding and steady. These feelings coexist without tension. They recognize one another naturally. As you listen, your body understands this language. Support beneath you, space around you. This is not separation from safety. It is safety becoming organized. Within the myth, the waters adjust without resistance. They accommodate clarity easily. Nothing fractures. Nothing spills. Clarity settles like calm light, soft, even. The Sumerians believed clarity was a gift of patience, earned by waiting long enough for balance to mature. Now that balance has matured, clarity can exist without disturbance. The universe senses itself as both unified and distinct. At the same time, this dual awareness is gentle, not confusing, not sharp. Unity remains the foundation. Distinction becomes the expression. As distinction stabilizes, roles become easier to recognize. Support feels supportive. Motion feels free. Containment feels secure. These roles no longer blur together. They complement one another. Complementarity creates structure. Structure creates reliability. Reliability allows rest to continue uninterrupted. As you rest, notice how nothing needs to change. The story flows without effort. Within the myth, Clarity allows the sense of place to approach, not location, function. Some presences feel foundational, others feel expressive, others feel encompassing. These feelings are stable now. They no longer shift uncertainly. Stability brings calm confidence. Confidence allows identity to feel complete. Identity here is not individuality. It is purpose. Purpose does not demand action. It provides orientation. Orientation allows the universe to sense where things belong. Belonging removes friction. Friction is unnecessary now. The Sumerians understood this phase as the quiet ordering of reality, not command, recognition. Recognition deepens understanding. Understanding deepens peace. Within the waters, clarity continues to settle evenly. Nothing is emphasized over anything else. Balance remains intact. Rest remains protected. As clarity becomes familiar, the sense of readiness increases. Readiness without urgency. The universe feels prepared for clearer expression. Expression here does not mean noise or force. It means visible structure. Structure will come next, but slowly, carefully, before structure appears. Clarity must feel comfortable. And now it does. If your thoughts drift away completely, that is expected. This stage invites deep rest. Within the myth, separation has achieved its purpose. Nothing has been lost. Everything feels more at ease. The waters hold both unity and distinction without conflict. This harmony prepares the way for the final shaping to come. But the story pauses once more, respecting rest, respecting integration. Pauses ensure that nothing overwhelms balance. They preserve calm. As this part settles, your breathing remains slow. Your body remains supported. Your awareness remains soft. The myth and your rest remain aligned, both moving toward completion gently. Within the universe, clarity now feels complete enough to allow form to appear soon. Form will not disturb calm, it will express it. For now, rest in this gentle definition, where things are known without being named aloud. You do not need to stay awake for what comes next. The story continues without effort. Clarity remains steady. Balance remains kind. The night remains quiet, and you may drift deeper into sleep as the ancient beginning prepares for its final gentle shaping. Before form fully appears, before the world feels complete, before rest carries you away, remain here where distinction feels safe and calm still holds everything together. Clarity now rests without effort. Nothing shifts, nothing strains. From this steadiness, completion arrives gently, not as an ending, as a settling. The ancient Sumerians imagined this moment as the world finding its natural posture, the way the body finds rest when it no longer needs to adjust. Within the waters, everything now knows where it belongs, not by rule, by feeling. Support rests where support feels right. Motion flows where motion feels free. Containment holds without tightening. Nothing presses against anything else. Nothing pulls away. As you listen, your body mirrors this state. breath steady, muscles soft, awareness floating comfortably. Completion does not bring excitement, it brings ease. The universe does not announce itself complete. It simply rests that way. The Sumerians believed true creation ended in calm. If calm was not present, creation was not finished. Here, calm remains unbroken, so completion is allowed. Within the myths, the waters continue to hold everything, but now they do so with confidence. They no longer anticipate change. Change will come later, but not now. Now is for settling, for integration, for rest. Identity no longer hovers. It rests, not sharply defined, comfortably understood. Roles are clear without being rigid. Relationships are stable without being fixed. This flexibility within structure is the final gift of balance. As you drift further, you do not need to hold any image. You do not need to follow any idea. The story has reached a place where nothing more is required. The ancient beginning does not close with sound. It closes with stillness, stillness that holds meaning gently, stillness that does not erase movement, but contains it peacefully. The universe now feels complete enough to allow time to exist, not rushing, not measured, simply present. Presence becomes the final state. Presence without effort, presence without demand. As you rest, this presence surrounds you, not as something outside, but as something familiar. The Sumerians believed humanity belonged to this calm completion. That rest was part of the design. Nothing was meant to remain tense forever. Nothing was meant to stay unfinished. Within the waters, the world now feels whole, not perfect. Whole. Wholeness does not exclude anything. It includes gently, light and depth, motion and stillness, awareness and rest. Everything is held without effort. Everything is allowed to remain. As this final part settles, notice your breathing one last time. Slow, natural. There is nowhere else to go, nothing else to hear. The story no longer needs words. It has become atmosphere. If sleep has already taken you, the myth continues quietly without you. If you are still listening, you may let go now. There is nothing left to follow. The ancient world rests. The waters remain calm. Balance holds without thought. Completion does not fade. It remains softly present. And you may drift fully into sleep, carried by a beginning that asked nothing of you and required nothing in return. Before memory, before waking, before thought returns, rest here where the world has finished becoming, and calm is all that remains.